I'd like to call to order the closed session for the May 13th, 2026 HBCSD Board of Education meeting. Natalie, can you please take the roll call?
Yes, Board Member Van Landingham,
Present.
Board Member Cole,
Present.
Board Member Bove LaMonica, Vice President Clerk Cluth,
Present.
and President Barrow.
Present. So members of the audience may address the board regarding closed session agenda items. Comments from visitors shall not exceed 3 minutes unless waived by a majority of all members of the board. Kevin,
Oh, no, sorry, Natalie.
Natalie, I'm like,
Sorry.
what does this say?
Didn't catch that one.
Sorry. Kevin, no, Natalie, do we have any in-person requests to address the board?
We do not.
Okay. With no comments, I'd like to adjourn to closed session and we'll return at 6 p.m. for open session. Ta-da. Good evening, everyone. Let me get my act together. Good evening, everyone. Let's call to order the May 13th, 2026 regular meeting of the HBCSD School Board. Natalie, could you please take the roll call?
Board Member Van Landingham,
Present.
Board Member Cole,
Present.
Board Member Beauvais LaMonica, Vice President Clerk Clute,
Present.
and President Barrow.
Present. Okay, good evening. Let's see. Tonight in closed session, on item 3.2, the board unanimously ratified the superintendent's immediate action to place employee number 0000473009 on compulsory leave of absence per Education Code Section 44940. The vote went as follows. Board Member Van Landingham, yes. Board Member Cole, yes. Board Member Beauvais LaMonica, yes. Vice President Clerk Clute, yes. And President Barrow, yes. And also in closed session, the board took action to approve resolution number 172526 regarding the final action of non-reelection of probation certified employee number 47329. The vote was Board Member Van Landingham, yes. Board Member Cole, yes. Board Member Beauvais LaMonica, yes. Vice President Clerk Clute, yes. And President Barrow, yes. And we're going to do the flag salute right now. Everyone, please rise and join us for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okie dokie. So now we're going to move on to approval of tonight's agenda. I know, feel like I'm in a rush or something. Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Then second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries and agenda is approved. And we will now move on to announcements. Hermosa Valley Student Council.
Hi, everyone. I'm Noah, Valley's ASB president. We're excited to be here tonight and update you with what's been happening at Valley. Aerospace Club members completed their rocket build with 3D printed parts, cardboard components, and a motor. They launched the rockets at the beach between 9th and 10th Streets, and students and parents reported having a positive experience, and they look forward to hopefully continuing the club next school year with a new group of kids.
Hi everyone, I'm Unha King, Valley Student Council member and Valley Vice President. The 5th grade Idea Lab students are finishing the Gmu robot battles, marble roller coaster competitions, and Tinkercad Yourself computer designs. 6th grade PLTW students just finished 3D printing customized fidget spinners specific to their hand size. They're currently working on writing 200 plus lines of JavaScript code. 7th grade STEAM students are working on the board game project. The 8th grade STEAM students are continuing robotics with the Vex IQ and Lego Mindstorms. In our elective, Just Words, students are learning about R-controlled syllables and how to add suffix endings. We are learning the difference between closed syllable and R-controlled syllables when it comes to 1-1-1 words. Next unit, we will be getting into vowel teams. Art 6 is beginning the ceramic mask project. They will learn to roll out a clay slab to make the base and add details based on a plain design. Art 7 is in the middle of practicing color mixing to prepare for their abstract painting project. Art 8 is filming a stop-motion video using handmade clay models. They're following a story reel that they have created as a group and will be submitting and watching their animations next week. In personal finance, students have the opportunity to hear from guest speakers with experience on Wall Street, stock investments, and accounting. Students will continue to work on their Shark Tank company ideas while learning all about what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur and start a business.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mia, Valley Student Council member. In public speaking and debate, students are preparing for their first formal debate using the middle school debate program. Preparation includes informal debate games that help students practice extending logical arguments by sharpening reasoning, finding additional evidence, and identifying multiple perspectives on complex topics. And they are strengthening listening skills as students must respond in the moment to classmates' assertions and logic. HBS is wrapping up a successful spring sports season. Boys volleyball and girls flag football had their games this week. HBS hosted the first ever surf competition south of the Manhattan Beach Pier last week, starting at 6:30 a.m. before school. All South Bay teams had some great rides and they look forward to competing again soon. Here are some team results. Boys volleyball A team, 6-2. Boys volleyball B team, 7-1. Girls flag football, 5-2.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kelsey Kettler, Valley Student Council member. HVS Track and Field completed the Mini Mustang meet at Miracosta. Hermosa took home over 20 gold medals, with athletes taking home top 3 in almost every race. Special shout out to our first place winners, Maddox Labar with a 5:02 boys mile, Capri Priest with a 5:40 mile. Sophia Spinelli, first place with the 100-meter sprint. Sarah Villagorda with first place and shot put in our 6th grade girls relay team. Tomorrow, the team will compete at Redondo Union for the South Bay Middle School Championships. Thank you to all the athletes, coaches, and parents and staff who made the spring season possible. Strength and conditioning students continue making great progress through weekly fitness check-ins, including push-ups, sit-ups, squats, pull-ups, jumping jacks, and before and after heart rate tracking. Many students have been setting new personal records and showing growth. We also recently completed our weekly food log project where students reviewed and evaluated meals and energy levels to better understand nutrition and performance. And of course, our weekly hill sprints continue to challenge and push our students each week.
Congratulations to our HVS band, who was able to raise $4,400 from the famous Glenn Miller concert. We are thankful for all of their support that was able to make it possible. The HVS band also had their spring concert last week, where they performed for their family, friends, and community. They are looking forward to play at the Forum Festival next weekend. Thank you again for allowing our student council to share what is happening at Valley. We look forward to ending this year strong and updating the board again next year.
It's always a treat to hear from you guys, so thank you for coming. Next, we have a proclamation for Mental Health Awareness Month, BCHD Board Member Vanessa Poster. Hi.
I'm Vanessa Poster. I'm from Redondo Beach.
Hi, I'm Alina. I'm also from Redondo Beach.
And we're representing the Beach Cities Health District today to present a proclamation on behalf of Mental Health Awareness Month. We're both wearing our Mental Health is Health sweatshirts. And we very much appreciate the work that the Hermosa Beach School Board has done to support Mental Health Awareness Month and mental health generally with your student body. It's fantastic what you do. 17% of area residents report feeling lonely. It is such a national epidemic that the former U.S. Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, called it an urgent public health concern. Our goal for Mental Health Awareness Month is to encourage people to reach out to other people. Grocery store, walking down the street, wave at people, say hello, make a connection, talk to somebody. You don't know, you might be the person who changes the shape of their day. And that has value. And because mental health is health, improving people's mental health keeps us all healthier. So we're here to give the proclamation, and we also have more to say about something coming up, very fun.
Hello. So very much appreciate all your guys' support with Mental Health Awareness Month and also just support of all Cove and Beach Cities Health District in general. As a young person, I will say for sure, like the mental health issues right now are so prevalent. And so we appreciate the support, but also would love to invite you to something super exciting this Saturday, May 16th at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. All Cove is having its official groundbreaking of its permanent location. And so we invite you to come over for the groundbreaking, and then also Co-Fest is afterward from 11 to 2, which will include art, live music, different activities. It's a super fun day, but we would love for you to join this super important event for the community. Thank you.
Wait, can we get a picture with all of us with you?
Please.
For a picture, and you're like, it's just with me? That was all.
I'll make sure I get you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Okay. Public comments. Members of the audience may address the board on any topic regardless of whether it is listed on the agenda. However, the board may not discuss issues raised that are not listed on the agenda. Topics not on the agenda that are brought to the board's attention may be investigated by the administration and a report made to the board, either publicly or privately at a future meeting. Comments from visitors shall not exceed 3 minutes per individual speaker unless waived by a majority of all members of the board. And we have two people here who want to make some comments, and the first one is Alan J. What? Oh, whatever, yeah, that's just the first one I got, sorry.
Ask the clerk to pause for a second if you wouldn't mind, since it was offered on the agenda itself, if I could get a waiver of the 3 minutes. I don't plan to go much over 3 minutes, but just so I don't have to speak like a madman, I'd appreciate, I think it takes 3 of you to say yes. 3.5 minutes if I speak.
That's fine.
quickly.
We're fine.
Much nicer in here than city council, so I appreciate that. Members of the school board, Dr. Wilds and other members of the Hermosa Beach School District present, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak this evening. My wife and I moved to Hermosa Beach about 5 years ago. We swallowed the insane price we had to pay for a home here because moving here meant we were going to be in a public school system that we were going to be confident sending our children to for 10 to 14 years. We have an incredible son who is the light of both of our lives, and we will continue to do everything in our power to make sure he has the best, most prosperous life imaginable. I'm not here today for any gotcha moments or to be a gadfly, a reputation I may have gained myself over in the city council chambers. I'm here for one reason only, and that's to pursue what I believe is the best interest of my son. And hopefully that will benefit other children of Hermosa whose parents may not have the time or know how to seek change. Based on my review of the school district's website, watching meetings for the past few months, and even meeting with a few board members outside of chambers, I truly believe we're all aligned in seeking what is best for our children. Our son was born September 1. So for those of you who don't already know me, you can probably imagine where this conversation is going. Our son is an incredible kid. He's praised by others as being polite, kind, friendly, and talkative. However, he is definitely still working on his emotional regulation, his willingness to sit still and follow directions. And we discovered this initially because our school's daycare sends home pictures of the kids doing arts and crafts and activities, and our son is almost never in those pictures. And when we asked why, we were told that he doesn't sit still. He doesn't really want to listen to instructions, and apparently he was completely happy, but he just did not want to engage in kind of organized activities. There was even discussion of potentially moving him down a grade, sent back in daycare. Kind of funny that that was going to be the start of his first setback in schooling. So this was obviously concerning my wife, facing the possibility of starting him in TK this fall, but the solution seemed obvious at first. We would just hold him back in daycare for another year. Unfortunately, when we approached the city about delaying his start, we were informed that late start TK is not permitted. But the reason we were told it was not permitted, frankly, was unsatisfying. And as I looked into it more, it seems that it may not have been entirely accurate. I've spent a lot of time over the past few months reading the California Education Code, speaking with education attorneys at the Alliance for Children's Rights, where I volunteered for 4 years while in grad school, and friends who work in other school districts, and even multiple discussions with the Department of California, the CDE. And barring all of these people being incorrect, it seems to be the case that one, delay start TK is not unlawful in California. In fact, Section 6170.1 of Hermosa Beach's own policy manual, mirroring the California Education Code, says that cases will be analyzed on a case-by-case basis. And two, having delay start children in TK does not cause loss of funding issues. And I really pushed the CDE on this. I can't remember the exact funding, GSA or GPA funding. I spoke to him about it again and again. And all the cases that I was pointed to in California where there have been funding taken away had nothing to do with delay start kids being in the wrong class. It had everything to do with ratios being off with teachers in those classrooms. So that means then simply that Hermosa Beach's current policy is to just deny requests for delay start, which candidly, if that was the reason I had originally been given, I might have just swallowed it and moved on. But the more I dug in, the more passionately I feel that our school district should have a procedure in place to assess the needs, children based on their needs. I will not take more of the board's time getting into the details. I suspect many of you have read enough on the topic. I also have a science degree, so I will be careful not to claim studies are conclusive. However, there's certainly a growing body of scientific literature that suggests that some children, more often boys, will benefit from delaying the start of a structured classroom education. So I return to where we started. If the ultimate goal here is to determine what is in the best interest of our children, something this district couldn't possibly do or make an assessment on, having never interacted with my son or spoken to the people who, with the professionals who have on a regular basis. So I would encourage this council to add to the agenda at a future meeting, establishing a process for considering late start applications to TK. This doesn't require a change in any law or even existing policy, it appears. As far as I can tell, it would simply require the school board to direct the schools and superintendent to create a process for that consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll look into that and perhaps someone can get back to you. Yes, thank you. And the next individual is Erica Burke. Hi.
Hi, my name is Erica Burke, and this is my daughter Dylan Burke, and she attends Hermosa Vista. She's in 2nd grade. And good evening, members of the board. Thank you for taking the time to hear my request. Recently, the school denied to allow Dylan to renew her entertainment work permit. This is something that she's had since a baby, stating being unable to mark her attendance as satisfactory. I'm respectfully asking for the reconsideration of Dylan's entertainment work permit based on her greatly improved attendance and continued strong academic standing. Earlier this school year, Dylan experienced a period of increased absences, several of which were well documented by her physician. She ended up with strep throat twice in a row and passed it back and forth. In addition, many of her tardies occurred during our family's adjustment to welcoming a newborn baby into the home. As many families experience, that transition temporarily impacted our routines, but those challenges have since been resolved. Over the past several months, Dylan's attendance has improved significantly. She has only been absent from school 1 day since February 24th. And the last time she was tardy late to school was January 27th. By definition, based on her current attendance record officially, she is no longer in the chronic absenteeism category. She has shown consistency, responsibility, and a strong commitment to being present and engaged at school. Academically, she continues to do well and maintains a positive relationships with her teacher and peers. For a 7-year-old, I believe her ability to balance school expectations and professional opportunities demonstrates remarkable maturity and accountability. Last year, she had the experience of doing a Subaru commercial for Japan that's currently still being broadcast there today. Very cool. The purpose of the entertainment permit process is to support students in pursuing unique opportunities while maintaining their education. Dylan has shown that she is capable of doing both successfully. I respectfully ask the board to consider not only past attendance at the beginning of the year, but also her current progress, strong academic standing, and demonstrated improvement. Students learn, grow, and improve, and Dylan has worked to do exactly that. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much, and we'll look into that as well. Thank you. Okay, Natalie, do we have any virtual requests to address the board?
Oh, we do not.
Thank you. Seeing none, I will close public comment and move on to board member reports, starting with Maggie. Jen? Carol?
No, ma'am.
Rachel?
I have nothing to report except Lex is having their annual elections on Monday, so I'll be voting for. Was it or Leco or Lexa? Yeah, it was Lexa. Elections are on Monday. Yes, please.
So the outgoing president of LAXTA is our neighbor to the north, Tracy. I just forgot her last name. Miller Zarnecki. Thank you. And TMZ, I never caught that. And so LAXTA, I think, suffers from a really robust engagement of trustees in general. And so they had to postpone the election several times or call for them several times before they had somebody set up. So I think my recommendation for the board is just whatever Rachel's vote is on this to go ahead with it. I know they don't have many candidates. So that's my understanding of LAXTA and what I've seen from the board and the folks there.
Thank you. I had reached out to board member LaMonica for some input on who to vote for. There's only one candidate for president. So I'll be voting for her. And then there were several for directors. And I was looking at some school districts that were smaller, such as Compton is one of them. So thank you. I'll be voting on Monday.
Great, thanks for sharing. Okay, reports to the board and discussion. Superintendent report revised HBCSD elementary report card. Dr. Wiles.
Thank you. We'll let the presentation come up. So tonight we're going to be introducing and talking about the work that a fairly large elementary cohort has been working on alongside Ms. Gluck and myself over the last few months to revise the elementary report card. I want to note this was actually a year 2 strategic plan goal, but we actually pulled it up based on the request of the teachers. I probably was not in this role even more than a few weeks, and teachers started asking me about when can we redo the report card? When can we redo the report card? And it was definitely a topic of conversation during our last ELA adoption meeting. So what was our process? So the first step of the process was to really kind of take a look at the input from our customers, right? And we say customers because the report card is a report out to families, right? And so the people we want that report to actually serve the people who are reading it, right? And we also need to make sure that it has served the teachers and it's a usable tool for them to be able to communicate to their customers. So we put out family and staff feedback surveys. We then grounded ourselves in actually what does the research say around elementary reporting tools. We actually spent a long time looking at all of our neighbors. We had all the way up into Santa Barbara, all the way down into some districts down in Orange County, and we looked at a significant number of different reporting tools that everyone used. And then we looked at kind of best practice. We then, before we did anything to the current report card, we actually set forth what we call a purpose statement, and I'll share that in just a minute, because we wanted the purpose to kind of guide any decisions we made about any revisions we would make. We then came together and we started drafting, and so we put together what we decided were non-negotiables. What were parents saying that were non-negotiables we wanted to see on a report card, and what were staff saying was a non-negotiable for them in terms of using it. We looked at different revisions. We looked at our grading scales. We looked at the comments. We looked at the learner behaviors. We wanted it to be able to work and be able to do what we need it to do. And then finally, each grade level then was able to take the revisions back to their grade level teams and in a grade level collaboration day, then tore it apart at the grade level to make sure that it worked for that particular grade level. And then was able to give feedback. We came back again and we revised a finalized tool that we're bringing forward to you tonight. So I want to thank quickly our committee, Annie Munson, Molly Murtha, Jen Cedarquist, Stephanie Moon, Bradley Aranda, Cassandra Seuss, Suzanne Connors, Grace Yang, Dr. Martine Romero, Vicky Siller Suarez, Sylvia, and myself. So we had a very robust team. Every grade level was represented in K-5, as well as our special education peers and our administrators. So the goals of the committee, we wanted to examine our current report card because we didn't want to just throw the whole thing away, what works, what doesn't work. And there were a lot of really good things about our report card that we wanted to make sure that we captured. We then spent time analyzing survey results, not only overall questions. We had Likert scales for several of our questions, but there was a lot of opportunity for open comment, which we spent a long time kind of really churning through to see about the feedbacks. We identified the key non-negotiables that had to occur on the revised report card. We reviewed examples and templates. We made recommendations, and then we worked to identify kind of what's the timeline for staff, family, and resources, and what types of training and communication tools will be necessary. So what was our North Star? We spent a lot of time reading research, particularly from Tom Schimmer and Thomas Gusky, who are really some key researchers in the area of grading. And we wanted to establish this North Star. So I'll share something from Tom Schimmer. Teachers take their grading practices very seriously and personally. And there's an actual and emotional response that grading conversations actually elicit in teachers. It's often linked to personal philosophy, grading, and more than any other aspect of teaching is a topic that frequently results in visceral reactions. And it can create some polarization. And one of the things that we talked about in the committee is that even across a grade level and then across multiple grade levels, there's variety in grading practices, right? What types of things we put in a comment section? What do we consider a 3? How do we grade a 4? And so because we had discontinuity, is that a word? That's not fair to our constituents, right? So whether a student gets a 3 in one class versus a 3 in another class, we wanted to create coherence. We also had a wide variety between a kindergarten, changed again in first, changed again in second, changed again in third, changed again in fourth. And so the grading report card as a whole was not continuous across grade levels. And so we wanted to make sure, kind of bring that together. So we really coming back to this idea of what was our true north so we could align together. So we wanted to create this purpose statement. And the purpose statement is actually going to physically show up on the report card so that everyone who reads that report card can understand that the purpose of this tool is to X. Some key considerations. What did we want to communicate? What information did we want communicated? Who was the audience? Because if the audience doesn't understand the tool, it's a useless tool. And then what was the intended goal of the communication? So this is our purpose statement, several iterations of this. But the purpose of the Hermosa Beach City School District Elementary Report Card is to communicate to families their students' progress toward meeting grade level academic performance and positive learning skills. And that was really important because the report card is reporting California state standards. And so we didn't want a report card that the sheer nature of the California standards are to report on the California standards of that grade. And so that had gotten a little lost over the years. So here are our input surveys. They were sent out early March. All parents of all elementary age students, as well as all HBCSD elementary staff. The survey was open for 3 weeks and all responses were anonymous. So what were some key findings? So from the staff non-negotiables, staff across the board requested the elimination of what they call the exceeds. It was the most highly variable grade across classrooms and across grades because we had teachers who said, well, I think a 4 exceeds is 100%, which really 100% is really 100% of that grade mastery. We weren't assessing beyond that grade's Common Core standards. And so we found there were teachers who just never gave 4s. And then there were teachers who gave out 4. It was just highly variable. Across, even within a grade, even in very tight-knit grades who spent a lot of time talking to each other, we found a lot of variety. They felt it's very important to report absences and tardies. They also found, and I'm going to show you a before and after picture here in a minute, there were a significant number of individual grades, particularly in English language arts. Well, the problem and this is not unique to Hermosa, we saw this really across the nation, is that when Common Core standards rolled out, there was this push to go to what they call standards-based grading, meaning you would grade at the individual standard, which is fine if you're in math. But when you're in ELA, writing is so commingled, right? You can't isolate just a single standard. One assignment might give you 6 different standards to report. And so what happens with teachers, and they started overthinking I had to give all these different assessments for individual single standards. And so what it took away really from what we know to be best practices in literacy instruction. And it just creates high levels of stress for teachers. So across the board, teachers reported that they wanted more overall content subcategories, more clusters like reading, writing, speaking, and listening, as opposed to the individual listed standards. In our current report card, we also had, not only did we have the individual standards, but it was also, we didn't have all the individual standards. So it was unclear which ones got chosen to be on the report card and which ones were not on the report card. The elimination of, what teachers also reported is that if there was a standard not on the report card, they didn't grade it. And so we really don't want the report card to be driving what we're assessing. The standards drive what we are assessing. Again, the elimination of individual standards so that because they just don't operate in isolation. And teachers were reporting high number of grades, and you'll see in a minute, we did an actual count. We're creating an undue stress and over-assessment of students. They felt strongly that we didn't want citizenship grades, because that really doesn't serve an educational purpose. We wanted behaviors that promote learning, right? It's not our role to judge citizenship, but it is our role to judge if these behaviors that promote positive learning experiences or negative learning experiences. And then we felt strongly about putting a lot of criteria in so that we would have standardized comments, right? So that we would have a structure. What families said, and I'll talk about in a minute, is that they really love comments. Right? They don't understand the grades as much, but they really love the comments, and they really wanted comments that would allow them to understand where their children are growing, where areas of growth could be, and ways to support their student at home. And so to do that, we needed to give them more characters and then really give our teachers some guidance. Family non-negotiables, they wanted academics and work habits. They wanted behaviors that contribute to learning. They also wanted attendance. And overwhelmingly, they said the exceeds is confusing, that they equate the exceeds to an A when it's really not, right? They wanted a need for a reporting tool that would support meaningful conversations with their child, and they felt that the volume of the number of different grades was really not supporting that. They felt that also it was important to view their child's progress toward a learning profile characteristics. And so that came out really strong. And they felt meaningful teacher comments are very important. And I even made that all caps because I cannot tell you how many times that showed up in the narrative section. Maggie, do you have a question or? Oh, all right, so we revised and we revised again. What we felt strongly is that the K2 we wanted to cluster together in the 3-5. These groups identified really key takeaways from the survey data, and they came together to discuss really 4 areas. What revisions did we want to make to the grading scale, what the academic grades, the learner behavior scale and what those categories would be, as well as a narrative and a comments, and not narrative and a comment section. So spotlighting the key changes, the first change is the rating scale. So you'll see the elimination of the exceeds. So we have meeting, approaching, and not yet. The not yet was really important. The condensed academic grades, the previous report cards, and this was just a random second grade. This was a random second grade. There were 35 individual grades by standard. It's massive. There were 8 effort grades by subject area. So for every subject area, there was also a separate effort grade. So in English language arts, there might be 14 different grades, and then there was an effort for each of these sections. And there were 11 learning indicators, and many of the learning indicators, like we said, didn't necessarily have a direct correlation to learning in the classroom. The new report card, there are 11 subcategory grades, 7 to 8 learning skills. There's one more in the upper grades, and one more in the lower grades than there is in the upper grades. And that we build out a very robust comment section. So for each trimester, there needs to be at least 2 academic strengths, at least 2 areas to grow, and at least 1 suggested home learning activity for each of these areas. The learning skills moved from consistent to progressing and needs improvement. So we have, again, the 3 indicators. In K2, those areas reflect these bigger engagement, self-regulation, demonstrating respect, and then 3-5, engagement, organization, and respect are the bigger subcategories. So we were like, well, okay, let's play this out. Let's take this report card home. What kind of conversation would a 2nd grader have with their parents? And so that was a little challenging. And so the essential question we sought to answer was, how do we address family feedback regarding the desire to have meaningful conversations and to understand progress towards the HBCSD learner profile? There's a lot of work in students' goal setting and having reflective conversations. So these are kind of some drafts. I've got a couple grade levels still giving me a little tweaks here and there. They want to change a few of the icons. But this idea of having students reflect on their progress on the learner profile in those 5 categories, and really thinking about which of these strengths was I really proud of demonstrating. What's an example of sometime this trimester that I actually demonstrated an example of critical thinking, and then ways that I can actually 2 specific things that I can do to reach my 1 goal that I want to work on for the next trimester.
This will go home with the report card?
This would go home with the report card. Students would fill this out, yes. For the younger ones, we would probably have them do the scoring, but then the questions would probably be with mom and dad. I think the directions are, as a family, flip to the back and kind of talk about them. But for the upper grade, yes, they would be doing this in class, and they would take it home with their report card. So next steps. We do have to revise Administrative Regulation 5121 that sets the grading scale. We want to thank Vicki Siller-Suarez because she has been working nonstop to now build this out in Power School so that it would be ready for the 26-27 school year. And then a communication plan for rollout and the development of all the accompanying documents. So I want to thank all the teachers who are willing to come work with me this summer and the Ed Services Department to build these companion documents that would go with this. And build these guiding documents and resources to support the transition, and then really support our teachers. Again, this also, just as a note, this report card in the grading scale aligns with Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach, and our surrounding districts who have also moved to do the elimination of the exceeds. Oh, somehow I left my side-by-side page.
Thank you so much for doing this work, and thank you to the committee for doing the work. I think my question is off of the 1 slide back, please. Off of the next steps.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, that one. And I don't know if I'm looking at it on my computer, so I don't know if anybody else could see it. But off of the learning skills, it's consistent, progressing, and needs improvement.
Yep.
Will we be giving guidance to teacher on what consistent means?
Yes. So there needs to be like one of the resources we talked about is talking about, like, as a grade level, what does that look like, right? What's age appropriate, right? Age appropriate for a 5-year-old is not age appropriate for 12-year-olds, right? They're 2 totally different. And so that'll be the work that we'll be doing.
And then I hear what you're saying on the exceeds.
Yeah.
But how do we flag a kid who is exceeding?
So we have other indicators, right? So we have the iReady report that actually does allow students to be assessed above the grade level. And we can see Ms. Gluck is an expert in the iReady reports. So we do have other indicators. We have the CASP test that
Where does that information go?
Goes home to parents.
Also at the same time?
No, iReady assessments go home with parents right after the assessment because we do those early in the year. So we do the first one goes off in September. So the assessment goes out, the family report goes out right after that. We do it again in January. So the testing don't necessarily correspond.
Yeah, I can see for this rollout, I think this is great. I would be curious in the next iteration of this because it probably requires hand inputting, but those are really valuable metrics. And I think it's part of the conversation for how kids should have that conversation.
You just have to build it out in Power School.
Lifting testing.
Yes. Yeah. So the thing about, because both iReady and CASP testing do give kids access to questions and, sorry, brain stopped working there for a second. they have they're presented discrete items that are significantly far above the grade level, so they have the ability to mark and exceeds, whereas the California standards are just that grade level. But yeah, we'll have those two indicators as well as M-class DIBELS also gives that assessment as well.
So my question kind of leads into that is, I'm just trying to, we have one parent-teacher conference at the beginning of the school year.
Yep.
And do we have a second one, or it's only those students that are in need of having it?
The second one is marked for students who are at risk.
Okay, so let's just take the first conference.
Yep.
You have, so let's just hypothetically say 20 kids, parents come to these classrooms. And can we have, is the idea then that the staff, the teacher would take parents through the report card? Because to me, it is, the reason I liked the other report card is that it is very specific on, so you know,
Each individual.
this person is maybe struggling in comprehension, or this person is struggling with vowel sounds, or, you know, it gives a lot more detail other than reading. Reading is such a vast thing. So I'm wanting to know as a principal, like, how do I trust that the staff is really is like putting the grade in there that reflects all the things that make up reading? And as a parent, how do I know that I've gotten these tests? Like, could I have my DIBELS thing all in my packet? So when I come to my conference, you're like, let me take you through their DIBELS. Let me show you where they're at.
One of the things that that we're going to be working on, one of the next steps too, is also in Wit and Wisdom. These mid-module and end-of-module assessments have all of that data in there. There's a really comprehensive rubric that goes with it that shows in this final assessment, here are all the standards that the student that were comprised in this final assessment. Here's where they are along a rubric, which is an amazing tool to kind of show live. Here's the work, here's the rubric that we used as well. Doesn't mean we couldn't at the report card have the DIBELS data, have all of that. We just assess it.
Like, that would be a nice complete package for a parent. Like, I've had so many different parent-teacher conferences over the years. We all have, right? I mean, you're going to do an excellent one, and the next teacher might just do like an okay one. They just give you the information and off you go. You know, it's short and sweet. You know, there's a condensed time. So I'm wondering, is there a way to norm more of that? Because to like, these are our expectations for, this is what it would look like for every second grade parent that's coming through the system.
Yeah, we can do that work.
I just think that might be a really great thing for our families.
Yes.
That's what they're looking for, to me.
Yeah.
And they're, you know, that's the feedback I would want. I always wanted as a parent. I'm like, take me through, give me the examples, show me what they've done, show me the work that's behind it. And if you don't have the work behind it, it feels a little arbitrary in second, third, fourth grade.
That's why these mid-modules and the modules focusing task questions are so powerful, because it's the student work right along.
But I do feel like it's the principal has to be like explicit, like in parent-teacher conference, this is what it's going to look like. Even though you've been a master teacher now for 10 years, we're shifting things. This is what we want.
We can do that.
And then that'd be my other thing about comments too, because I think comments can be very vanilla. And you can be like, I'm just going to pick from my list of comments. And I'm not sure that's what parents are saying when they say, and we want comments. So I'm just making sure that we norm what comments look like on report cards, whether it's you're allowed to have any type of comment you want because you're just that kind of a teacher, or are we picking from a slew of comments? Or
it's not a bank, but there will be an accompanying document that helps teachers understand like how to take, and this will be some of the training we've talked about early on in the year, right? Where our principals can sit with the teachers and say, okay, let's take a look at your DIBELS data, your, M-class. Your mid-module assessment. What's this data telling us? And then how do we translate that to a report card so that it's meaningful?
I'm just not sure if they're up for that kind of conference is my other, like, just push on us a little, because when you don't have as much union regulations, like you can say to teachers like, hey, you know, you got to spend some time on this and when you have a little more structure with our time and our conferences, I think people get a little more particular about how much time we spend on each conference.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting it out there as like, it is going to take us some work.
Yeah.
But
I will tell you, so, you know, Grace was on the committee. Our principals sit and read every report card. And so they had a lot of good feedback because they were sitting across.
Right.
And we have a lot of good teachers who really excel at writing very meaningful comments, right? So those are, we're able to snag and say, hey, here's some exemplars.
Yeah, I just think that will be exemplars of what great report cards and then the experience
Yeah.
from a parent perspective, I think is really important
Yeah.
that we don't forget that. Like
Yeah.
model with a parent, show them what we want. And I think we'll get a lot more positive
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah, and that's part of the teacher professional development that we'll do in the fall.
Okay, cool.
I just want to, you know, one of the things that came out is what I heard from them is I want them spending less time thinking, oh my God, I have to assess each one of these standards and I need a worksheet for that. I need a test for that. I don't want them doing that. I want them spending the time really looking at children and really spending the time in this curriculum. It'll give them everything they need to do the grades, and I don't want them having to create unnecessary stress.
Exactly. If
Yeah.
they can use the curriculum that we have to help
Yeah.
this report card,
It
that's
generates a
key.
lot of rich data.
But they do have to be shown how to do, I think, shown how to do that. It's not.
Yeah.
I had a question.
Sure.
A comment more. Just about the timing, because I think it's a really good point about collecting all the data when you're having these conferences and you know, the good teachers, or
Mhm.
not the good teachers, but our teachers who are really good at those
Mhm.
conferences are doing that already.
Mhm.
The iReady scores that we
Mhm.
do, that our kids do in the fall,
Yeah.
maybe Sylvia will remember, you probably know, Dr. Wilds,
Mhm.
that my memory is that those are already done before conferences
Yes.
start,
Yeah.
and parents already have that data and have been shared that already before the conference.
Yeah.
So
We send them home, we make them publicly available within just a few weeks of closing the testing window. That
Right.
doesn't mean we can't print another one and have it available.
yeah, so I would just say that if that's already gone home, it might be a nice reminder to parents to bring it in, or that to reference that when they're, you know, here's the 3 things you should think about before coming to your conference. It's your iReady scores that were sent to you or that are here. And then here's a link to where to find your CASP data for our 3rd graders and up if you
Mhm.
want to discuss any of the CASP data that came up
Yeah,
over
absolutely.
the summer.
We can do that.
Last but not least, which means everything's already been said, that was smart. So I agree with my colleagues' earlier comments. And particularly, I mean, first of all, this is fantastic, and this is a huge project in and of itself. And
Yes.
and your presentation made it sound all easy and butterflies. And I know it wasn't all easy and butterflies. This was a huge endeavor. So thank you. And I want to acknowledge that. I was looking for the comments being a teacher
Mhm.
and struggling with what is the best way to communicate what I'm trying to actually say
Yeah.
here. Having a bank, so to speak, exemplars. I've
Exemplars.
gone to other older professors that were teaching well before me, say, how do I say this? What am I actually trying to say? What's my goal here? Oh, these are the words. This is how you do it. So again, that's part of professional development. But I think I really love the learner profile incorporation into this and the active component that our students will be taking in their own grading experience with that reflection component. Kudos for that. That's really incredible. I forgot if PBIS was just here or if it's at the lower school.
It's at all 3 schools. Yeah.
So is PBIS, when we got into that one component of the new grade
Yeah.
card, what was about,
The learning behaviors.
yes, is that directly, is there going to be a
There's
correlation?
not a
overlap?
there's not a direct correlation because sometimes PBIS, really some of the PBIS areas are focusing on how we all interact as a learning community on the campus. We're, you know, respecting, we're respecting the tables, the chairs, right?
Jack's being
we're-
told not
yeah,
to
we're
get off
being-
his bike on school
right,
property.
we're
2
being-
weeks ago. Yes.
Yeah, that would be one,
Yeah,
being
that's
being safe, right? For the purpose of this tool, we really wanted to kind of focus it on behaviors that promote learning, to be honest. Yeah.
That makes sense. No, I think this is fantastic. And my last comment would be, are we going to go back out to the community, to parents, or maybe just doing a select group?
Mhm.
Give us your feedback right
Yeah.
away so we can beta test this and
Yeah.
then continually improve it. But I think this is really fantastic, and I'm jealous of the parents that are going to get this. It's really amazing. So thank you.
Good.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks for the report. Action items, moving on to action items. Oh, no, consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now we're moving on to action items. Item 12.1, adopt 2026-2027 HBCSD school calendar. Dr. Wilds.
Yes, so tonight we ask you to approve the proposed 26-27 school year calendar for the Hermosa Beach City School District. that has been developed with consideration for making sure that we align with the Manhattan Beach Unified School District MBUSD calendar. This alignment is important as a significant number of our 8th grade students transition to Miracosta High School and participate in summer athletic and summer academic programs that are offered by MBUSD. HBEA has already ratified this calendar and staff recommends you approve.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or discussion? Nope. Okay, can I get a motion to approve item 12.1?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 12.2, Resolution 152526, Green and Healthy Learning Environments. Dr. Wilds.
Yes, so we bring tonight for approval a resolution that recognizes the benefits of green and healthy living learning environments and affirming the district's commitment to sustainability, student wellness, and environmental stewardship. This resolution directs the development of a district greening index, the establishment of an environmental sustainability advisory task force, and creation of a long-range environmental sustainability plan to guide our future efforts and investments. Staff recommends you adopt this resolution.
Okay, any questions or discussion?
I'm just gonna make a comment.
Okay.
Want to say thanks to my resolution partner, Carol, for the work on this, and thanks to the board for pushing to make it a really beneficial resolution. It takes time, and it's an iterative process. So thank you for considering it.
Thank you guys for doing it, all your hard work. Any other comments or questions? Okay, can I get a motion to approve item 12.1?
So moved.
And second? Carol.
So I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item 12.3, Southwest Special Education Local Plan Area GLAAS, Master Contract for the 2026-27 school year for non-public, non-sectarian agency and school services. Ms. Gluck.
The district uses the Greater Los Angeles Area SELPA GLASS approved master contract to approve non-public schools or non-public agency services that are additional for students' IEPs. And it's recommended that the board approve the Southwest SELPA local plan, Greater Los Angeles Area GLASS master contract and amendment for non-public and non-secretary agency and school services for the 26-27 school years to be approved.
Thank you. Comments, questions, anybody? Going down, okay, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Pass. Okay. Item 12.4, approve amendment number 2 to agreement for topographic and utility survey services for Hermosa Valley School Measure HV. Ms. Montalvo.
Thank you. At the January 14th meeting, 2026, the Board of Education approved a pre-approved contract with DMC. PBK has recommended additional testing and scope work. So the recommendation is that amendment number 2 would be approved.
Okay. Any questions, comments, discussion? Moving down, can I get a motion to approve 12.1? Sure, 12.4.
So moved.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. All in favor? Item 12.5, contract amendment number 1 with SVA Architects for Civil Engineering Services at Hermosa Vista School, Field Replacement Project. Ms. Montalvo.
Great, thank you. SVA is to provide civil engineering services necessary to facilitate the Coastal Commission application. They have specifically asked for civil engineering work to be performed and submitted, and the recommendation is that the contract with SVA be approved.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, discussion going down the line?
I have one. It says fiscal impact not to exceed $14,375. Do we expect it to actually reach that amount?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Any other answer to your question? Any other questions, comments? Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
And all in favor? Oh, second.
Second.
Second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 12.6, consultant agreement, before and after school care and enrichment as aligned to Extended Learning Opportunity Program, ELOP. Ms. Gluck.
The district has partnered with Star Education to assist with the ELOP mandates to offer no-cost before and after school programs, as well as intercession programs for students that are eligible for TK through 6.
They also offer before and after school programs and enrichment programs for students in the district. It's recommended that the consultant agreement with Star Education for ELOP services be approved.
Thank you. Do we have any questions, comments, or discussion, starting with you, Rachel?
Thank you. Was Star providing this previously?
Yes. Yeah.
So I thought-
Good. Carol, Jen, Maggie. Okay, can I get a motion to approve this 12.6?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
12.7, agreement with Millennium Consulting Associates for Hazardous Material Consulting Services, Hermosa Valley School Modernization Project Measure HV. Ms. Montalvo.
Thank you. On July 9th, the Board of Education approved Millennium Consulting as a pre-qualified service provider. We're moving forward now. They have a scope of work outlined. Phase 1, design and support. Phase 2, bidding support services. Phase 3, construction support services. The physical impact of these 3 services are not to exceed $71,106. And this will be funded by Fund 21 or Measure HV.
Okay, great. Comments, questions, discussion? Okay, can I get a motion to approve this 12.7?
So moved.
Second? I guess Jen could be second.
I can second.
All in favor? All right, item 12.8, resolution number 162526, assignment of delinquent tax receivables to the California Statewide Delinquent Tax Finance Authority for fiscal years ending June 30th, 2026, 2027, and 28, and authorizing execution and delivery of related documents and actions. That's a mouthful. Ms. Montalvo.
Thank you. In many California counties, local governments operate under the teeter plan, which allows them to benefit from penalties and interest collected on delinquent property taxes. However, Los Angeles County and a few others do not participate in the teeter plan. In other counties, penalties and interests are treated as the same as property tax revenue and state aid collections. Through the participation of the JPA established to finance property tax delinquencies, the Hermosa Beach City School District is able to receive 10% of the delinquent property tax with a corresponding reduction in state aid. The district has participated in this program since its inception in December 2002. The recommendation is that Resolution 162526 to assign collection of delinquent tax receivables to the California State Delinquent Tax Authority be approved.
All right, comments, questions? Yes, go ahead, Mitchell.
Why in the world does LA County not participate in the teeter plan? Why do they give the money to the state instead? Do we know? Do we care? Now, I'm glad we don't, so thank you for this.
All right, can I get a motion to approve item 12.8?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, item 12.9, increase in certificated substitute teacher compensation. Dr. Wilds.
Yes, so over the past year, HBCSD has been experiencing a significant shortage in certificated substitute teaching staff that's resulting in the utilization of contract services, Scoot, most recently Swing. Just note, contracted services typically are about double the price of a subpool. Staff have conducted a comparison survey with our surrounding neighbors, and we are the lowest paying in both our daily rate, our half-day rate, and our long-term rates. As contracted services place an additional burden on the budget, staff recommend we increase our rates to be more competitive and increase our pool. Staff recommend you improve this increase.
All right, questions?
I do have a question. I'm curious if after we vote on this motion, if we can put on the docket for a future conversation, a look at our subbing portfolio in
Yeah.
terms of who, what, when, how
Yes.
much, and see if there's any strategies.
We actually talked about that today. We'll actually probably add a slide to the new LCAP budget survey because just to give you a very ballpark estimate, as a district, we probably certificated and classified under the sick leave, personal leave category. It's probably close to 250. Yep, with 3 zeros after that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we should address it. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
Jen, comments?
I'd agree with Maggie. Let's put it
Yes.
up at middle. How
It's-
far in alignment does this bring us to our neighbors, Redondo and Manhattan Beach?
$5
Okay.
more than them.
More than that.
Thank Ms. Gluck for that.
I like that.
He's going to outbid them by $5.
That's gonna make
Yeah.
gonna make a difference.
Yes.
All right, anybody else want to comment? Okay, can I get a motion to approve item 12.9?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, 12.10, approval of job description and salary schedule, certified occupational therapist assistant, COTA, Ms. Gluck.
Staff recommends the approval of the Certified Occupational Therapy Assistant job description and corresponding placement on the district's salary schedule. The addition of a COTA position will enhance the district's ability to provide consistent services for students on an IEP. It's recommended that the job description and salary schedule for the certificated occupational therapy assistant be approved.
Great. Questions? Comments? Anybody? Okay, can I get a motion to?
I had.
Okay,
sorry.
go for it. I'm sorry, Ms.
No, it's okay. I was slow in the uptake. Why did we think we needed a new COTA? Did we have one? Is this replacing
So
one that left?
we've
or
been
did we
using,
get a new position?
we've been using contracted services. So we currently have one occupational therapist serving 3 different school sites. So when she has to be in an IEP meeting, that means students are not receiving services. So a COTA allows students to continue to receive services while she's in a meeting, and it keeps us from having to do compensatory. So over this past year, Ms. Gluck we've contracted to get a COTA for a set number of hours to kind of relieve and make sure that all students get their services, and it's been very valuable. So we don't want to continue to pay for our contracted services. We want to bring someone in-house that's cheaper.
Wonderful, thank you.
All right, any other comments or questions? Okay, can I get a motion to approve 12.10?
Motion approved.
Thank you.
Second.
Made a motion.
And then Rachel has a second. Did I say motion?
I said.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Item 12.11, approval of HBCSD 2025-2026 classified salary schedules. Dr. Wild.
Yes, so this is just an amended item we had to bring back. There was a little bit of a minor accounting adjustment when the salary schedule went up to LACO. It adjusted at about 25 cents, but we're bringing it back just for your approval.
All right. Comments?
I know we haven't moved for a motion to approve yet, but I am happy to give our employees in this district any kind of raise that we can. So this is great.
Anybody else? Okay, can I get a motion to approve? Did you?
I motion to approve.
Okay, and second? Thank you, and all in favor? All right, item 12.12, approval of HBCSD stipend position job descriptions. Dr. Wilds.
Yes, so this is in alignment with the previously approved HBEA collective bargaining agreement where we negotiated a brand new stipend table to be added to our compensation package for our certificated and classified staff. So tonight, what we're bringing to you is for your approval is with these associated stipends that a job description actually goes with it to ensure consistency of duties across the sites, what our expectations were, and so that we have alignment in this compensation. Staff recommend you approve these descriptions.
Great. As a comment from me, I think it's overdue, these stipend positions. Anybody else want to make a comment?
Again, this is one of these, I think, unsung tasks that really took a lot of time and thought that went into these job descriptions. I agree, it was very much needed for the transparency and the fairness. And I'm just looking at the responsibilities in these documents, I think, well done.
Good.
Anybody else? Okay, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. All in favor? Okay, that concludes the action items portion of the agenda. We will now move on to the board member roundtable. Maggie.
2 things. One is a question for our superintendent. Do we have open houses for incoming students across all the grade levels?
We have across all the grade levels at the 3 different campuses. We do like popsicle with the principal. We do, they're called different things, cookies with the counselor, but yes, we do before school starts so that students get to be on the campus. Do you mean just inviting everybody? Yeah.
Yes to that.
Yes.
Yes, we'll do one, I guess, in August.
Yes.
But I thought I saw one on the calendar for TK Kinder coming up as well. So are we doing
So
it
View has their open house.
Mhm.
Yes. So it's just it's just the regular open house that occurs in May.
for new families?
New families can come.
Oh.
We don't, there's no limit. It's open to the community to come and kind of walk around the classrooms. But this one is just the yearly open house.
Got it. So we'll communicate out to incoming families
Yep.
that they'll have a chance to walk and see their classrooms.
See their classrooms and and we'll do the same again, walking kids right into the classrooms.
And will we do that for the kids who are current students but moving campuses?
Yes, so we literally just talked about this yesterday. And so Ms. Yang and Dr. Gabriel are working on the finalization of the plan to bring our first graders to walk on over to View. And then at the same time that our fourth graders are walking over to the Valley. So yes.
Fabulous.
Yep.
My second piece is for the board to consider, need a second on this, but to put on a discussion item for us to understand what it means for board discretion in considering the public comment that was earlier. So when we have something that's a board discretion, like what do we mean? Do we have same way we do a lottery and we have a whole list of factors when we think about lottery, like what does it mean when we hear board discretion? So I'd love to have that at some point as a conversation.
So you want a second on that?
Well, I need a second if we want to.
I'll second it.
You want to get a third in that, Rachel?
Third, fourth,
Yeah.
and we'll fourth it.
It's not a
All in
thing.
favor? Okay, so board member roundtable. Oh, sorry.
Thank you to Sylvia for being a colleague at Friday's Beach City's Health District Strategic Plan. She stuck it out for the long haul. I left after I got free coffee, but they did a great job.
They always
always do.
do.
They do.
I was.
Thank you for being a good partner to them.
Okay. Yeah.
I also have two things, I think, but that could become a third. The first thing I wanted to say was a huge thank you to HBEF for Hearts of Hermosa on Saturday. That was a super fun event. I know it's a heavy lift to put on an event like that. And there were, I believe, over 600 people in attendance, something like 620. So great community event, lots of fun, was had by all, as some of us witnessed. And yeah, so thank you to them. And then the next thing I wanted to mention was you can go from that party to this Saturday. Our partner and community member, Indivisible Arts, is putting on their state-of-the-art fundraiser, and that's from 5 to 9 at Resin Gallery, and that supports youth arts and creativity and wellness. It's a really valuable service that they put out there to all of our students, and a lot of our students volunteer there as well. So you can get your tickets at indivisiblearts.org.
Sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel.
And I think I did my during your board member report was when I brought up mine, which should have been brought up now, but just regarding Laxta about
Doesn't
the
matter.
election. So, well, it got out there. But thank you. And I want to echo board member Clue's comments. The HBF was lovely as always. And just hats off to all the hard work that went behind the scenes and the many folks calling for auction items, et cetera. And yeah, and we have graduation that's a month from Friday. That's insane. So thank you.
And just so you all know, the HBEF Hearts of Hermosa has grown in magnitude and profitability from the day when I was in charge of the Bayou Bash. Don't you know, it was probably 50 people there. We did, it was a dinner. It was like nothing compared to as far as fundraising that you guys are doing. That's awesome. Okay, calendar, May 21st, Hermosa View Open House. May 25th, Memorial Day holiday, campus is closed. May 28th, Hermosa Vista Open House. June 9th, HBEF and HVPTO joint meeting, Hermosa Valley NPR 7:30. June 10th, school board meeting here, 5 p.m. closed session, 6 p.m. open session, and that's it for this evening. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So sorry, just to add, we had a typo on that. The HVPTO HBEF meeting is on June 2nd. They actually just moved it
bad.
up a week so
Okay.
that it wouldn't correspond with the last week of school.
Okay,
So,
good. So change that. Change your calendars, everybody.
Yep.
So June 2nd. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.